not the bad guy. I'm just the person who's not too ashamed to make the money of everything that's happening in the community. So they're building them. I might as well sell them.
That's right. Yeah.
Couple things. I'm going to start off with some real quick data. Yes, I have a whole bunch. It's not all. This is not all I'm talking about. It was just much easier to take the notes on the papers that I got versus trying to write it all out. I got home at 4:45 this morning. Give me a break. Data is not my friend right now. And yes, I have to wear reading glasses. I'm old. So we have all this growth, and we're perturbed because we have all this growth. But we have this growth because people want to come here. So we want people to come here, and what we complain about all the people that come here. We don't have this restaurant. We can't get this house. We can't get this, so on and so forth. But if you look at the data, again this year, Florida ranked top. Number one, Florida ranked one in all these different companies that do these types of things. Lightcast talent attraction. So they go do surveys of the people that are coming here. What do they have that makes businesses want them? Florida ranked one. Again, they analyze attracting and developing a skilled workforce. Now, some of us are like, skilled workforce, hospitality, what? No, there are things happening right now in this community that we have to have a skilled workforce. And we'll get into that in a second. Florida ranked 2 in migration. 2. We ranked 4 in skilled job growth. I know for some of us that doesn't make sense, but skilled job growth isn't just white collar. Skilled job growth is CNAs, RNs, Nucor. You have to have engineers for the steel. You have to. So data analysis, IT guys, the brainiac guys. And we were number 5 in job growth in Florida. Now, here's the bad part. Polk County. We ranked 4th in migration. We ranked 21 in job growth. And we ranked 72nd in education attainment.
Which means they're living here and driving somewhere else.
Well, we're going to touch on that too. Our population, we feel like we have a lot of people. Last time I went out of state, it took me 6 hours to do a 4.5-hour trip out of Florida. 6 hours. Now, this past weekend it took me 9, but that's because we left and went all the way across the Panhandle. But our population has grown from 21.5 million in 2020 to 22.6 million last census 2023. Polk's population feels like we're getting crowded. 725,000 to 787,000 in 2 years. 100 people a day moving, not visiting, moving. They're like the family that comes and doesn't leave. That's what's happening. We talk about businesses needing to grow, and we're attracting that kind of workforce. Polk County right now, there are businesses that have moved or expanding. Florida Can Manufacturing. Peace River Citrus. I know the citrus industry has poo-pooed, but guess what? There's still citrus being delivered to the area that is being processed by those companies. And Peace River is one of the ones that has expanded. Nucor Steel. Where was I? Alabama? We were some other place and we saw another Nucor Steel. So it's a very large company. They've expanded into Florida. Publix. Publix is Florida's baby. Publix has expanded their workforce here because they're expanding their reach out there. They have the one major corporate office here that has to keep expanding, and then they're also building offices. Every distribution area they have, they're building a secondary office that answers to the growing corporate office. I learned that from insider information. I won't trade.
That's right.
International flavors and fragrances. Those companies when you get a drink and it has a flavor of an orange, artificially and naturally flavored, they're coming here. They're growing. And then one I thought was interesting, Assure Infusion is building an advanced robotic pharmaceutical plant in Bartow. I don't know what Assure Infusion is making, but they're building a robotic plant. And yes, we know we still have the weed farms and everything else. Really pay attention to what happens with that automated car driving place in Auburndale. That facility is massive, massive. And just wait to see what happens with the IT, AI, all that stuff with the automobiles. It is not a mastered technique. You can ask these guys how they like to handle the cars that get into the self-driving accidents. So that's the technology that place in Auburndale is working on. Competitive effect. All these things that are happening. Tourism has rebounded because of the pandemic. Little old Legoland that we all think is a pan and derriere, they built a second theme park, by the way. There, Peppa Pig.
Yes.
Yes. They have their own in-house everything. So if we think of Legoland, imagine what's happening just outside of Polk County. More than 105.2 million people visited Florida last year, in the first 3 quarters of last year. So I believe the pandemic effect of tourism has extinguished itself. We are now back to full force. And if you try to get on I-4 right now, from 27 to Champions Gate, you might as well just pack a lunch, hang out, talk to your neighbor as you're passing by, because it is what it is. And this is all stuff, I'm gonna talk about the homes, but this is why this is happening. Polk County is the fastest growing county in Florida. We all know that. We've seen the reports. It's the 7th fastest growing in the nation. I will tell you, I was in Texas this past weekend. I did not catch a traffic jam until I got to Baton Rouge. We caught a traffic jam for 5 minutes. Did 75 miles per hour down Interstate 20, 49, 59, 65, and 10. And there's people. I get into Florida, everybody's there.
Yeah.
They still have 2-lane interstates all around the country.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have that in Florida anymore. So think about that. That's where we are. That's what we're doing. It's called the United Community Needs Assessment. They talk to United Way, other places that help figure out what people's needs are. Top 5, top 6 needs that they have come up with, and I'm going to touch. Some of them are assets and some of them are needs. Economic and employment opportunities. Companies are growing, companies are coming. They're looking for a varied workforce now. So that's an asset and a need. Housing, we're working on it. But guess what it does? It ticks all of y'all off. Right now, the median price for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house to rent, median price, is $1,900. That same house to buy, we just had a buyer back out because it got too big. 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, $2,750 for payment, insurance, taxes, the HOA fee every month. $2,750. When I bought my house 24 years ago, my payment was $500 a month. 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, same size as these people were trying to move into. We have expanded to the point that renting is not cheap. Buying is not cheap. Right now, it's we'll talk about what the market is, but that's the problem we're working on. You see all these apartments.
Right.
Guess what that's going to do to the houses? It's going to alleviate some of the pressure off houses. Winter Haven is not approving housing projects. They're approving apartments because they don't have enough apartments. They have plenty of homes. They don't have apartments.
But we've
So-
never had that many apartments like what we're getting.
We're getting them now. I don't have the answers. I've tried to call these people. I can tell you right now, dealing with planning people is the hardest thing in the world. I try to obtain that information because I have customers that want it. Education. We have all our elementary schools. Did you know that we have 7 colleges in Polk County? That's not bad. Who offer a variety of programs that are needed for the workforce coming here. And they keep expanding and growing those programs. Whether or not you like the school, the programs that they're offering to the outsiders coming in are the programs that are needed for them to be viable in this community. Food security, it's always going to be a problem, always has been. Our city, we've talked about how our city is handling some of the issues, maybe good, maybe bad. I'm not going to get political on those. Transportation infrastructure, Oh, we already talked about it, let's not. Public transportation is not a thing in this area. Public transportation in Florida is not a thing. It's not a thing. We talk about it, but it's not a thing. We have it, it looks good, it smells good, you can get on the train, you can ride mine, but we don't have it. You go to Chicago, you go to New York, you go to those big cities, you go to Europe, they're built that way. Florida is not built. Where is Florida gonna put that infrastructure?
Along I-4 and I-75.
Yeah, that's already packed out.
Yeah, but if you put a train right in the middle of it,
No one's gonna use it.
they already tried.
I know. And then the quality of life. What does quality of life mean to you? Not for you to tell me, but what does quality of life mean to you? Is it parks? Is it access to shopping? Is it having security of home? So the quality of life question, that's a personal question that each person that moves here has to answer. So those are just some of the things that are affecting what's happening. Now, the actual boring data. It's gonna blow your mind. Right now, in Polk County, there are over 66, just process that number, 66 developments that have homes being built or paid for in Polk County. Over 66. And I say over 66 because there's a couple of the builders that we're having a hard time finding. Their information is available and we're able to obtain it. But when we pull our numbers, it's not showing up in our data. So it's just Lennar Homes, for example. We know Lennar, we know what they're building, but they're not showing up in our data pool. So when I say plus 66, because I'm about to say in Lake Wales, currently, I know that you see all the other developments, but in Lake Wales proper, there are over 6 developments in process. In process means there are houses being built or are ready to move into, not that they're done. I know that there's been a couple developments that they're brand new, but they're done, so they don't count anymore. They're already done. So these are 6 that are being built. Currently, rough math, in the Ridge area, from Dundee to Lake Ashton down to Frostproof, there are approximately 10,000 new homes being built. 10,000. Just think about that with a family of 4. 2 cars. I don't want to get into the politicals. I'm just here for numbers, and just think about that. Think about what we're going to do with that. I know we don't have enough fire, we don't have enough police, we don't have school. That's not my job today.
New Rotarians.
Go for it. All right, the real quick data for Lake Wales. Lake Wales trends. The month supply of homes is an inventory thing that we use to kind of see what way the market's going. Right now, sorry, gotta read. The month supply inventory for Lake Wales, a typical healthy market has 6 months of inventory. Right now we're sitting at 4.26 months. So the house, if you list your house today in 4.26 months, that house will roll off and have been sold. That's the average. That means that we have a seller's market because there's not enough houses, so people are paying more. We're not at that, and I think people need to understand, we're not in 2007, 2008 where people were getting free money. Getting a loan now is not like it was in 2000. I'm not walking up to you and handing you 125% and saying, go buy the house that you can't afford. This is just the current market, what it's bearing. So right now, the healthy market, you want 6 months, we have 4.26. It's leading to higher competition among buyers because they have the capacity, well, I'll go up. And it's still happening. You have houses, and sometimes the appraisers are good, and sometimes they're not. Not that they're bad, it's that they're like, well, I'm just gonna knock this one down. We have one of our friends, a mortgage broker. He had an appraiser. It was $100 below the sale price. $100. The next one, $30,000 over. If I'm the buyer, I'm like, yep, I'm walking in with equity. I'm good to go. Yep, sign the paper, let's go. So that appraisal thing is one of those issues that we don't get to pick them. They're on a pool because of that 2007, 2008, when mortgage people were working with appraisers and saying, hey, we need this to be 325. And okay, we'll get it to 325, and it would go there. Now they're on a pool. You don't know who you're getting. They come, and some of them are really good, and some of them are like, hey, it's a paycheck. 12 months change of inventory in Lake Wales. Here's a number for you: 87.67% increase since last year. January of last year, the inventory availability is 87% higher. Not bad. There's houses. And by the way, those spec homes, they're not that many spec homes. Each developer builds a couple to show you what they are, and then they're all built. So when you see these homes going up, that Leona Reserve near the preserve, those homes are already paid for. So when they're being built, not paid for, but they're under contract. They're not just spec homes. The builders, they're not building many spec homes anymore because they all lost their butts before. So now they're making sure they're getting paid. Median days, 52 days. We talked about that, how long they're lasting. In Lake Wales, we're at 52 days. So we're kind of better than the 4.26 months of inventory. And list price sold, Lake Wales is also, we'll talk about that. If you list your house for $100,000, it's more than likely gonna sell for $98,000. That's the kind of in Lake Wales. So if you list it properly, that's where they are right now. You're losing about 2%. New listings this year, right now, new listings in Lake Wales. We have 97 new listings this month. Brandon, come on board. The average price of those listed, $273,000. I know, everybody coughed. It's ridiculous. The active listings that are still in Lake Wales, 258 active listings, $279,000 for the average price. Oh, and by the way, the active listings, their median days are at 77 days on market. The pendings, so that means they're under contract this month. Last month. They went under contract last month. 85 homes. So remember, 97 went online in January. 85 went pending in January. So Lake Wales is floating through inventory right now. They're putting them on, they're taking them off. 47 days, just over a month. Boom. The ones that are pending longer, this is where you get into the ones that may not be priced right. There may be issues with financing. We have one that is going to be a financial bear to sell because you can't do it with a conventional loan, an FHA. It's going to be a portfolio loan from a wonderful place like Citizens Bank that wants to hold that asset. And there are 95 properties that fit that right now in Lake Wales.
So what does that mean, that they're just over $1 million and they?
No, just that they may have, for instance, that building that's at the very corner before you go to the railroad tracks. There is a, what's it called, when they have the special thing, they have oil in the ground and there's fines that are on that building.
Brownsville or
Yeah, Brown site. There are fines on that building that the city's not releasing. Well, whoever wants to buy that has to pay those fines. So it's just gonna sit there. So it will mess up an average number. Polk County, I know that we don't care about Polk County, but we should, because Polk County is also growing and we have to drive through it to get everywhere. Unless you wanna go south, which by the way, they're growing too. Polk County, this is the number that just baffled me. In January, 1,630 listings in Polk County in January this year. That is an increase of 65% from December of 2023. Now, it's only a 13% increase over a year. But from December to January, 65% increase in listings. Pendings, no big deal. Closed sales, 1 month in Polk County, 936 sales closed. That sounds good. Now, in a year, it was 10% increase. In this month, it was a 17% decrease. What happened? I am not that economic guru that can tell you that. Christmas, finance issues, money's expensive.
Insurance.
So, yeah, we all got our insurance bills. People started choking on those. So, the median price right now is $320,000 in Polk County. Just think about that number. Think about that number. $320,000 is the median price for a home in Polk County. That's up only, you think about that number, how big it is. That's only 2% higher than it was last year at the same time. Last year it was at 312. So yes, we've watched the prices and we all think they just have shot up. But if you really watch the data, they have incrementally gone up. COVID, not complaining, COVID did not do us any favors with the economic side of how much it costs to get a home now. Active listings in Polk County, there are almost 4,200 in Polk County. Active listings, that means that building that's never gonna sell or just anything. If you have 5 acres of farmland, that's an active listing. And average days on market in Polk County is 53. Polk County, I told you, we're at 98%. If you list it properly, it's selling for 98% of the list price. In Polk County, it's 95.3. So Lake Wales, we're better. We're better. We're getting our sellers what they deserve. Spotlight, real quick. We care so much about ourselves, but I want everybody to understand where we rank in the county for average, or in the state for average cost. We are 18th out of all the counties in Florida of our average cost. Now I know real estate is personal, regional, and everything, but we were dealing with a buyer in Merritt Island.
Okay.
He lives on 0.21 acres on the canal in Merritt Island. Okay, it sounds tiny.
Right.
He's looking at a 25-acre parcel with a beautiful home on it that he can turn into an ag exempt place. We were going through what the taxes were because they only had it as residential. Everything's relative. We told him the taxes and my wife was like, it seems kind of high. Because we've dealt with both residential and ag in just our life. It seems kind of high. And he laughed. She's like, no, it does. No, they're not high. Compared to what I pay for 0.21 acres in Merritt Island on the Intercoastal Waterway, those taxes are cheap. And she's like, all right, so everything's relative. I say that whole thing. Sarasota County has the highest. Think about where Sarasota County is. Highest average price, $486,000, the average sale price in Sarasota right now. Next in line is Manatee County, also water. Orange County. And corporate. Think about they're third at 410. Port St. Lucie. Not many of us think about Port St. Lucie County, but it's Jupiter, that area down there. If you go down 60 and turn right, as soon as you go down 60 and turn right, all of a sudden you've entered a world that did not exist 20 years ago. And now their whole existence, they have taken Miami and West Palm Beach and pushed it north. And that's what's happening. Their increase is 5.8% in 1 year. Sarasota County was 15.7% increase for their average price. Like I said, we're 18th. Counties close to us. Pinellas County is 399. Hillsborough County right beside us, 380. Lake County right above us, 356. Highlands County right below us, 236,000.
Wow.
Now, I don't know how many of you have driven down to Sebring. It's also growing. It's also growing. And if we all think about what Sebring has that Lake Wales doesn't, there's no reason that it shouldn't keep growing. They have viable food choices. They have shopping. They have, I know not everybody is, they have a international racetrack that people attend, that they attract people for. Lake Wales is trying so hard to do those things. Be careful, if we do those things and their sale price is at 236, what's gonna happen to our average sale price here? If we want all those things, our cost of living is going to go up. So my point of the whole talk tonight was, all of these developments, there's 6 new ones just here. The one out on 653 behind Lake Ashton, I think it's around, I've heard it's around 7,000. I don't know where they're gonna put them.
What?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it's massive.
It is huge. It's another Lennar community. The one behind the Rural King,
Like,
Rural King, here in Lake Wales. It's over 120 homes right there. And look at the roads that all these are on. These are the things that y'all, if you're mad, don't get mad at me. Go to your city, go to your county, and wonder, how are you gonna get these people in and out?
It's gonna be Fishhawk River here, everybody, so.
Just how are you gonna get them? And they can't expand the roads because if you look where they're putting everything, they're putting them on the road.
yeah.
So I come saying, hey, it's not great. It is what it is. You have to learn. I've had people tell me they're gonna move. I wish them luck because I don't know where they're gonna move to. If you wanna live in Florida, you're gonna have, it's busy, it's growing, everything's selling. My last parting shot. Let's pick a range. What range of, like, house? 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom? What are we looking for? What kind of house? I go with 3-2.
3-2.
3-2. 3-2, single family homes or villas. The average price right now, the average price at 163 of them have sold. The average price is between $300,000 and $399,000.
Gated communities?
So there are single family homes or villas that fit the 3-bedroom range. That's the average price right now. Your expectations have to shift. I know that's not great. I'm sorry, I have to be truthful. If you have expectations, they have to shift, because if you're wanting that gated community, I have a rental right now in a gated community. It's a beautiful, beautiful home. It's only a 3-2. They want $2,500 for rent because of where it is, what it is, and what they think it offers. It's one of the highest listed rentals right now available. To me, it's a house.
It is.
But for a doctor coming in who doesn't have a place to live for a couple months till they build a home, $2,500 in a gated community, nothing. So you have to figure out what you need. 2-bedroom, we go with 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms or more. Currently in Polk County, we've actually had 8 homes of over $1 million sell. We have homes that are nice.
Oh, yeah.
8 of them. And believe it or not, we've actually had homes that were on the market for 0 days. 76 of those. They hit the market, they're sold. And the average, like I said, with 31 to 60 days, 183 houses have been sold in that time frame. That's kind of the average. You have those ones like, they put the sign up and all of a sudden we had an offer. Those are, just FYI, I'm gonna give you a little insight. Those are called pocket deals. They're not legal, but we all do them. We don't do them on purpose. We have people that are like, oh, if you find this house, no, that's just my way. If you find this house, this is what we're looking for. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, I'm gonna be listing this. Hey, I found this house. I might have a buyer for you. And then it's done.
Yeah.
It's done. So that's what's kind of going on. Anybody have a question about anything? I can look through the data. Yes, ma'am.
The development, the new one beside the preserve.
Leona, or the new KB one? The Lennar one or the KB one?
It's not the one across the street from us, it's the one literally beside us. I've noticed that builder, and I don't know whether it's the builder, but they have got, either they have purchased some homes or somebody purchased, there's for rent signs on them now, brand new.
Those are investors. They were purchased to be rentals.
Okay.
They're
So
investors.
that is figured in what data?
That's just sold. That's a sold house.
That's a sold
That's a
house?
sold house for an individual business. There's a company that none of us are going to like called BlackRock that goes around and buys all investment properties because they want to be the largest holder of real estate in the United States.
Yeah. They're renting some of those now.
Yes, ma'am.
You said that it was 8 homes that were worth over $1 million here in Polk County.
That's sold. No, there's more than that. There's more houses worth over $1 million,
Oh,
but 8 have sold. for over $1 million.
Okay.
Recently. In Polk County, yeah. So, yes ma'am.
Has Lakefront been more expensive?
Lakefront is traditionally more expensive because they're not making any more. Crooked Lake is the most expensive lakefront in Polk County. Because it is a lake that you can ask appraisers, they can't find comps for it because there's no other lake as clean with as little access. And the homes around the lake are some of the most diverse homes. I don't care if your home's falling apart, you can get $850,000 in Crooked Lake. Sight unseen. And what's amazing is now what happened in Winter Park, I don't know if you're familiar with the chain of lakes in Winter Park. They're now taking $1 million, $2, $3, $4 million homes, buying them, tearing them down and rebuilding them. And now that's happening on Crooked Lake, the same thing. They are now buying $1.2 million, $1.7 million homes. They don't like them. They tear them down and they build the home they want.
And they're not from Lake Wells, by the way. They're typically from Miami.
Most of them are not from this area, but yes. Lakefront, traditionally, if you drive through Winter Haven, the chain of lakes, it's traditionally a higher sell price just because you have access. And the chain of lakes sells a little higher than like a Lake Daisy. Lake Daisy isn't on the chain. You have a lake, you don't have access to a whole bunch of lakes. You have access to one lake. So lakefront is a tough sell because each body of water, for instance, not Hatch and Hall, what's the other one? Pierce. Pierce is a great fishing lake, but if you're a water skier, you don't care because you're not going in that lake. So, but it's still gonna cost more because of the vastness of the body of water. So, does that help, Laura? Is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Anybody else?
Caitlin wants a lot of kids. What would a 5.3 be?
A lot of kids.
The average for a 4-bedroom, over 4-bedroom or more. The average price right now,
Read that.
there have been 200 that have sold for between $300 and $399. And if you want to go up to 400 sold, $300 to $600,000.
Okay.
But your 5 bedrooms also, some of these builders,
Yeah.
they build you a 4-2. You could get a 3-2 same size, bigger bedrooms.
Okay.
So the 4-2 is actually same size house, smaller bedrooms.
Oh.
You gotta really pay attention to what you're
There
buying.
you go.
So, anything else? I hope that educated you and didn't frustrate you more because, trust me, Michelle and I would love to live in the woods without all the people, but I gotta make the money.
That's right.